Hey YouTube, how you doing? This is Real Talk, and I put together this other video, kind of prompted me from the video I posted earlier about the Osmonds. This is a little different, same thing, but different show. We're going to analyze the Andy Griffith show. Okay, here we go. There you go. It's Mr. Andy Griffith right there. One thing I noticed, that the eyes, if you look at the eyes, he's not smiling in this one, but a lot of them have like the evil eye. Look at his eyebrows. They'll smile, but they have evil eyes. Not all of them, but most of them have like that evilness. Because apparently all the goodness got sucked out of them. Okay, so this is Andy Griffith, and in one movie, it's called Griffith with Lee Remick and Patricia Neal on the set of Facing the Crowd. Facing the Crowd, I think, was one of his first flicks. It was either one, No Time for Sergeant was the first one, so this could have been the second one. Anyway, it's that's the film debut. Dramatic role in a Face the Crowd 57. In 57, Griffin made his film debut starring Facing the Crowd. Plays a country boy, power hungry. Apparently he trips out or whatever, and it's supposed to be like not good. There's another YouTube video on YouTube how it's kind of reflects Illuminati. Now, I used to like Andy Griffith, but it turns out that he was going with the flow. He did what he was told to keep his gig on his own show. So, I try to look for connections between him and Disney, but because I said that in the last video, that the Osmond video, but what I should have said is this, that the connection is not necessarily with Disney as it is with witchcraft. The warlocks. Okay. So it's Andy Griffith. Here we have Don Knotts. And on the side you see Hope Summers. I think that's her. I'm not sure. Anyway, then we see the other auto from Bewitched, the second Darren. So needless to say, there was a little group of those guys in Hollywood at the time in the 60s. And look at the title, The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. Now, this one was Disney. Don Knotts had signed a 5-year contract with CBS to do the Andy Griffith Show when he first started. And he figured that Andy was going to leave after the 5th season. Turns out they offered him a gang of money because it was doing so well. And Andy Griffith decided to stay. But it was already kind of too late because Don had already signed a contract, to do these other flicks. So he kind of went off and did his own other flicks. And here we see let me see here. Yeah, signing a 5-film contract with Universal Studios, he was caught off guard when Griffin announced that he would be continuing with the show after all. But Knott's hands were tied. In his autobiography, Knotts admitted that he had not yet signed a contract when Griffin made his decision. But he had made up his mind, believing that he would not get this chance again. Knotts left the series in 65. Within the series, it was announced that Deputy 5 had finally made the big time, joining Raleigh, North Carolina Police Force. And these are the movies he did. It's Man Mad World, Incredible Mr. Limpet, which was a fish, so that's like a magical movie. Ghost of Mr. Chicken, which is a scary movie, so he's already, he's already turning over to the evil thing. The Reluctant Astronaut, Shaky's Gun in the West, The Love God. Shaky's Gun in the West was a remake of The Paleface with with Bob Hope and what's her name? I think it was Jane Russell. It's just a remake, but they did it in '68. The Love God, so now, see, the sex. So, that's how they got, see. Beginning in '75, Knotts was teamed up with Tim Conway in a series of slapstick films aimed at children, including the 1975 Disney film, The Apple Dumpling Gang. There you go. He's tied to Disney. Witchcraft. That's just tied to witchcraft. Ron Howard. This is one of the most famous young kids out there. I mean, this dude has success all the way up. But as you recall from the other video, I was saying that this dude was having seances and a bunch of, in the courthouse. Actually, I was supposed to pull that picture up, but I forgot. But you can look it up. It's a seance. They're having it in the back of the courthouse. It's 3 Wishes for Opie, I think is the name of that one. But look at the eyes. You see? Look at the eyes. He's smiling, but the eyes are evil. That's all because of all the light that's been sucked out. Now, in this picture, it could be that, the light is in his eye or whatever. It doesn't really seem like it's too bright there. But why is it that all the stars have these evil-looking expressions when it comes to their eyes? If you look at the eyes, because they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. So needless to say, if you suck your soul out, which is God's force in your life, then you're going to not look nice. See, and they throw you off with a smile, but it's an evil-looking smile, kind of like a witch. Yeah, witches. Let's check out Ronnie. He did a bunch of stuff. He was in Twilight Zone, which is another known devil show from Rod Serling. I mean, right as it starts, it talks about, the devil. I mean, in the first episode. Then he's cast as Opie Taylor in Andy Griffith Show. And then this dude just had a slew of stuff, Did a bunch of movies. And here we go. Howard appeared in 1969 Disney Records album. The story and song from Haunted Mansion. See, there you go, witchcraft. See, so they inducted him early. Then it also kind of speaks of him, over here at the Waltons. See, that's another nice family. But see, again, witchcraft. Everything's tied together. It's all witchcraft. So John Todd was right. See, but this was before. This was in the 50s and 60s. So I think this is the producer's couch. This is when all the gay crap is going on. That's why there's a lot of gays. Okay. Frances Bavier. Never liked this one. I always consider her a prick. And apparently I wasn't the only one. And what did it for me is on that one episode, when Andy gets offered a contract to go to South America. They're all sitting on the porch. She tells Opie to go put on a shirt. Don't be like those savages, referring to Mexicans. So she called us savages. So I'm thinking, well, that's pretty nasty of you to talk that way. Okay. She was on, she was on the Andy Griffith Show, and she had a bunch of films and stuff beforehand. But it turns out that she was hard to see, being difficult. And in an April 24, 1998 appearance of Larry King, Griffith stated that Bavier had phoned him 4 months before she died and said she was deeply sorry for being difficult during the series run. So she was kind of nasty, when she was on the set of Andy Griffith Show, because to her, I think I had heard around the grapevine that it was like you know, she felt that she was better than that show. It says here, this episode became Andy Griffith's show, and Bobbier was cast in the new role of Aunt B. Bobbier had a love-hate relationship with her most famous role, Aunt B. During the run of the show as a New York actress, she felt her dramatic talents were being overlooked. See, there you go. So she felt she was better than this show. This was kind of teeny, you know, kind of humpy dumpy. And she was basically a butthole. She died alone, which is kind of sad, and I feel sorry for her on that point. She died alone in Siler City. She was actually in Siler City, you know, where supposedly the show was filmed. Although it was filmed on the Desert Leaf Studios, which eventually turned to Paramount, which is where Partridge Family was filmed. So, and all that stuff is still, you know, tied to ABC. Here we go. Eleanor Donahue. Couldn't stand this one either. She was another butthole. She was the one with the virtual balls, you know, clanking around, ping, 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 every time she walked. She was always giving lip, you know, always talking crap, you know, always with her chest puffed out and always trying to check Andy. Well, it turns out that Andy didn't care for that stuff either, because after the first season, she got cut. And I think I read somewhere where he kicked her to the curb. She says different, but I think she also was a pain in the butt. However, this scene right here is from the Christmas episode, which was one of the better episodes of her. There was 2 episodes that were good. It was this one, and the one where she goes and she makes the farm girl real pretty with all the makeup and stuff. And the dad was kind of mad, and then Frances the farm girl, and then it was him, her, and Andy. They go out there and they help the farm girl get pretty. So that was a pretty good episode. Mary Eleanor Donahue, she was off of Father Knows Best. Here she's a pharmacist on the show right here. It says that she's a pharmacist, right? You know, so on top of having big balls, you know, the feminist big nuts that you're not supposed to have. So she already has feminism, which is basically rebellion toward God. On top of that, on the show, she was a pharmacist. Well, it turns out, oh wow, I missed it. Well, the pharmacist is related to pharmakia. It comes from the Greek word pharmakia, which directly translated as witchcraft. If you look at the pharmaceutical and all the medical stuff, you see that staff with the snakes wrapped around it. That's already another satanic symbol there too. Just like today, when I went out to, you know, run my errands and stuff, I never really noticed that, but as I pull it into the thing, I see Rite Aid Pharmacy. So what does that say? Rite, R-I-T-E. It has religious connotations, but it's a satanic rite. That's how they spell rites in the Satanism. So it's satanic aid, sorcery, because pharmacy is another word for sorcery, which is what she played in the thing before Andy Griffith kicked her out. Okay, there you go. CBS Andy Griffith show as pharmacist Ellie Walker, even getting a mention on the opening credits. The character was intended to be the love interest for Sheriff Andy Taylor, but after one season, Donahue decided to ask for release from her 3-year contract. In '63, Donahue was cast in a certain modern western. So she had asked for a release of the contract because she felt that it was like not happening between her and, because they were clashing behind the scenes, you know, but she was under contract, so, and they granted her, they cut her loose, because they also, Andy Griffith probably said, yeah, just cut her loose, because it ain't filling her, so. And then it also mentioned that she was messing with Ray Bolger from the previous video, Wizard of Oz guy, the Scarecrow guy. Floyd Lawson. He was a Weasley type of dude, you know. Kind of funny, but weaselly. And and they always portrayed like this greedy type of vato on the show. He was like excuse my language, he was kind of like a bitch. Didn't really care for this dude either. But he had some pretty funny scenes. There was a couple of shows that were pretty funny. Okay. He was tied to the Rod Serling thing. I mean, he was tied to a lot of stuff. He did a lot of shows, But he was tied to Rod Serling, and Rod Serling, Twilight Zone. We all know how trippy that deal is, and it's definitely satanic in nature. But that's a separate video. It's American dramatic fantasy and science fiction. Well, it's Satanism. And if I run 5 seasons on CBS, CBS, the all CNI, that logo alone is telling you Satanism. That's I Love Lucy too. And let's see all the notable guest stars that were on there. Art Carney, so witchcraft. Buddy Epson, Jack Elam, Buster Keaton, Burgess Meredith, Agnes Moorehead. She was on Bewitched. Bill Bixby, the Hulk. That's another satanic thing. Charles Bronson. He was killing people in the 70s. Donna Douglas. She was Ellie Mae Clampett over there in the He-Man Pond. Beverly Hillbillies. Robert Duvall. Anne Francis. Mariette Hartley. Earl Holliman, Dennis Hopper, Elizabeth Montgomery, another witch. Straight up, they put the witch in your face on that one. Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Devil himself from Star Trek. Robert Redford, Burt Reynolds, Don Rickles was a butthole. William Shatner, Star Trek. Telly Savalas, with his, lollipop over there, busting crimes. George Takei. I didn't even know George Takei was even on there, but I guess so. And they're all tied with the Satanist plot, so he was on this one too, George McNair. Howard McNair, I should say. So anyway, Gomer Pyle. Okay, this vato. Honestly, the vibe I get from him is he's like a good-hearted dude, kind of like Don Knotts. So you couldn't tell Don Knotts was a Satanist because he didn't look like it. Gomer Pyle has that same vibe that you can't tell, And he might be nice and he might be kind and they might be like cool with you, but there's no way that they can be actually who they are if they're practicing homosexuality, and in his case, he's practicing homosexuality. Jim Nabors. In 1994, Nabors suffered from a near-fatal case of hepatitis B. Cut himself with a straight razor, I guess. He used to hang out with Carol Burnett from the Carol Burnett show. That's where he met Tim Conway. It says here in his personal life, Nabors married his partner of 38 years, Stan Cadwater, at Seattle, Washington's Olympic Hotel. A month after same-sex marriage became legal in Washington, flaming faggot. Then down there it says allegations of him, messing around with Rock Hudson. Everybody, all the women were chasing Hudson, and they're flaming faggots. They were all faggots in the 50s. They just didn't tell the public because, they didn't want to ruin the public image. The rumor was spread by those who failed to get the joke, and because Nabors was still closeted at the time, and Hudson never publicly admitted being gay, despite widespread suspicion that he was. The two never spoke to each other again. So apparently there was this joke, but it wasn't a joke. see, what does it say here? According to Hudson, the story originated with a group of middle-aged homosexuals who lived in Huntington Beach. So it was like a joke, but it wasn't a joke. Okay, we got this evil mom. I always dislike this Hope Summers. Look, she got the smile. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Evil. Just evil. I mean, they all have it. Beyonce suffers from that same thing. If you look at these stars, look at their eyeballs, and they have the evilness in their eyes because all the good has been sucked out from them. You know, they've given their souls and their lives over to Satan. You know, over riches and money and pretty much death. Claire Edwards, and plus, she was a punk on the Andy Griffith show. Look there she again. Look at her eyes. Look how evil. She's smiling, but look at the evil eyes. She was always causing trouble. She was always like instigating trouble between Aunt B and, you know, just stuff. If you look at the shows, you know, she's always kind of like, you know, I think in one episode she was hating on Aunt B because she won a bunch of stuff. I think she went to Hollywood and won a bunch, like on a show, and she won a bunch of stuff. I think it was one of the color episodes. I never did see the whole thing. As soon as the fifth season, as soon as Barney Fife left, I stopped watching it because it's kind of sorry after that. They were trying to replace Barney, but they never could. Yeah, so basically all of these characters are tied to Satanism. And they're tied in various ways. I mean, one of the things that they're tied to is straight up witchcraft, because witches are walking around when you're out in public. Another one is through gay. You know, and as we can see, just about everybody in Hollywood is flaming. They're homos. You know. Okay, check this out. At that gig that I did for the Dyke, and I didn't even know I was going to do it for a homosexual lady. They kind of tricked me into doing that. Had I known, I would have said, hell no, I ain't doing it. But anyway, I did it, kept my word like you're supposed to. Anyway, I'm talking with the drummer, and the drummer was saying that he was training this other singer girl or whatever, and they were going to go do something in San Francisco. So they're headed towards San Francisco, and it turns out that when they get there, they were straight, and everybody in this competition or this contest or whatever it is they were going to get ready to do were gay. And he said that he felt the animosity toward them because they weren't gay, and that's what they wanted. I wish I would have went to that. I would love to see a bunch of gay dudes around me and see what would happen. I would love to test my powers out on the homosexuals. I guess we'd be boxing like we'd be boxing. Okay, now I'm not supposed to box. But hey, man, if you're a man and you acting up, I mean, as long as you respect me, I'm going to respect you. But if you get out of joint, you got to remember, I'm a sinner. Don't think for 1 minute that we won't be boxing. Now, if I can avoid it, that'll be the last straw. So I'm going to obviously try to avoid that at all costs. But if somebody gets wants to push up on me and get in my face, I'm gonna let it be known that you better not do it. Don't do it. I'm a big vato. I'm a big one too. And I got a lot of things kind of going for me in that department. I don't necessarily like using that stuff, and I don't really like doing that stuff. But it would be interesting. But I try to stay away from those situations, honestly, because, antagonizing people is never a good thing. And besides, it's funny. I've posted other videos and then about homosexuals, and they get really mad. They come at me, attack me, and whatever. And I'm kind of used to it, and I already know the arguments that the Bible is not real. Once I've conquered them with Scripture, then they come attack me direct, saying they start calling me names, or they'll start, and I'm like, that's not going to help your case. You know darn well that what you guys are doing is wrong, because that demon is on you. That Asmodeus demon, the demon of homosexuality, of lust, is on you. So you attacking me, that ain't gonna do no good. I mean, that's just to antagonize, really. Here's a statement I have for you. The Bible is the rule book for every man and woman, child, son and daughter on this planet. If you guys love so much, then why don't you follow God's commands? Because you don't love. You hate God. You hate him because you can't go do your supposed desires or whatever, your weird whatever you're doing over there. I don't know what you're doing, and I kind of don't want to know. I just know what I see on the legal notices that the film industry sends out. Like there's this one movie called Zoo. One of the critics said, how the hell are we supposed to give a rating to this flick? I don't think he could even sit through it because it was so disgusting. I think Angelina Jolie was in there having sex with horses, and I don't know what it was. I haven't looked at it, and I'm not going to. It just, no. And that's what they're trying to come. That's what they want to present next. And if we don't say something, it's going to happen, because everything's turning back into Sodom and Gomorrah. In the Bible, we see that God destroys Sodom and Gomorrah. However, okay, now this is a big however. During the Passover, I'm going to use this one instead of the Sodom and Gomorrah story, because I just know the story better. When Moses went to go rescue his people out of Egypt, he was told that he had to get innocent lambs and slaughter them, and then take the blood and mark the doorways of wherever they were staying, because the destroyer was coming. So anybody that had the slaughtered blood of the innocent lamb over the doorway was protected. Right before the destroyer got there, I forget what her name was, I think Nefertiti. I don't know if that was the one he was courting, or it was the mom. It wasn't her mom, it was more like the stepmom, the one that pulled him out of the eye. I forget what her name was. She showed up knocking on the door. It was the queen. And then the servants were like tripping, like, "Whoa, wait a minute! This is the queen. She was married to the pharaoh, so she was the like the highness or whatever. Can we come in and my servants too?" She knew that God wasn't going to play. That God wasn't playing. So Moses, having love for her, because they had a relationship prior to him finding out he was Hebrew, said, sure, everybody's welcome at my God's table, So they entered, and the next thing you know, boy, when that destroyer came, you heard cries and oh man, they was hollering, boy, because like I've been saying, God ain't playing. And the reason I bring that up, that's the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston. And that scene is in there, so you can see for yourself. But, I already know that people are rebellious on purpose, and they ain't really trying to hear. But this is not really directed at the rebellious type of homosexual guys or whoever. These videos are presented to the people that actually are starting to think like, hey, man, maybe these people, You know, because there's a bunch of us here on YouTube saying the same thing, that we gotta trust our Lord Jesus Christ, because He is the way, the truth, and the life. There's no other way. You're not gonna make it. My buddy, I think it was KJ from Scariest Movie Ever, was saying, you know, watch this video before you become a Mason, and it clearly says that the Masonic Order, when you try to join, because he got this thing firsthand from a 33rd degree Bato that was going to be he was going to be promoted to 33rd degree, where I guess is the highest or whatever. And a doctor kept telling him about Jesus. So finally he was like denouncing Christ. And inside of there it says that Islam, they had to say that that Muhammad was above every other god, so they were like denouncing Jesus, whatever. Just check that video out; it's a good one. I'll put the link in the description. Anyway, we're in some serious times right now, you know, and the Bible is dead on accurate. I showed you in the Donnie Marie Mormon one. I mean, they're throwing up 666. Lucy's throwing up her goats. You know, not everybody is tied to the Illuminati, because actually I try to research the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I'm going to make that a separate video, maybe not, because I can just make these videos all day long about every single show, and it all winds up coming out the same. So I'm kind of like not trying to do that. I would rather talk about God than to show you devilish stuff, you know, or, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I'd make this video just to, you know, let you guys know that it doesn't matter what you're doing over there, you know, homosexuality or things that you have done in the past, God will receive you, okay? Jesus will receive you if you just ask Him, just talk to Him. You know, you ain't even got to say nothing to me. I mean, I'm a sinner, and I know Jesus, and I'm trying my best to abide by my Lord's commands. And I have my problems, and I have my shortcomings and all that stuff. But honestly, right now, this is the best way I can do it. You know, I really don't like to show my identity, because this is not about me, because it's unimportant. It's not important for you to know who I am, because, you know, because a lot of people on YouTube, they show their identity because they want the fame. I'm not in this for me. If you click, great. If I get a couple pennies off of the clicks, fine. If I don't, fine. This is not about me. You know, this is not about me. This is about Jesus Christ. It's about His glory. It's about His kingdom. And this is the best way at the present moment, with my present circumstances, for me to try to help the kingdom of God. Okay, so I'm just loving my neighbor as myself. Anyway, hope this video helps somebody. And tell me what you think. You know, leave some comments in the comment section. I mean, I can cut the comments off, but I don't. I'll just leave it open. You know, if I get some haters in there, you know, say whatever you want. So I'm not gonna like it, of course. Who likes negativity? But I'm not gonna censor anything. You know, if we get some sort of dialogue going, man, you know, normally the people that are far away from God are gonna be negative, and they're gonna be mean and nasty, because, you know, they're over there. The devil is tearing them up. See, I'm not mean and nasty because I'm trying to get as close to God as possible, as close to the Lord as possible. And I have, like, really, you know, it's serene here. You know, I have my issues or whatever, but for the most part, you know, I feel God's protection. I feel God's hand on my life. I'm real peaceful, honestly. I'm using bad language. I'm not supposed to, but, well, you know, I'm a sinner. Anyway, this is Real Talk. With this video, let me know what you guys think. You know, yay or nay, either or. It's all the same to me. As long as we get some dialogue, that's cool. So this is gonna wrap up this video, and I will catch up to you guys next time.